Hey Jeff, welcome to Meet the Boss Junior. Today I'm speaking with you, Jeff Smoot, CEO of Infomedix. First question, you might know I love cars. What's your favorite car?
Actually, I don't have a favorite car. I think I have a favorite era. I like the old stuff from kind of mid 50s to mid 60s. So things like like the 66 T-Bird, the or 56 T-Bird, the 65 kind of 66 Mustangs and Camaros. And I like the stuff that have the big fins, so I kind of so it's not so much a favorite car, but I like just about anything kind of in that 10 to 15 year period. I'm quite fond of. What's your favorite car?
I like the 1995 McLaren F1.
Oh, nice choice. Nice choice.
Okay. Think back to when you were a kid. What did you want to do when you grew up?
I wanted to be an athlete. I wanted to play. I wanted to play a pro sport of some kind. So growing up, if there was a ball involved, I was pretty much playing it up through high school. So I played a lot of gridiron, played a lot of basketball, a lot of baseball. Kind of settled into football into college, and realized a couple of years into that I'm probably not good enough to continue down that path. So I had to face a bit of reality that life dream was probably not going to happen. Um, so I took a year off from university and kind of rethought my plan and kind of left a small regional college where I was playing sports to a business school, Denver University, which is a very reputable business school in the U.S. And that's kind of what got me changed from kind of focused on athletics into more of a business focus. So it was an early learning experience that, pursue a goal, but I realized that goal was probably not going to be in my physical best interest. And it was going to take me a long, long time to get there. So I thought I better apply myself to some other things.
I want to hear all about your job, but first tell me your story. How did you get to be a CEO?
Well, the journey to CEO was kind of an evolution. I didn't really start out to consciously be a CEO. It just kind of evolved there. So companies that I were involved with initially, I had was in sales and kind of moved into marketing. I guess the real big leap into being a CEO was working for a diagnostics company, Becton Dickinson, and they actually asked me to come down to Australia to sort out the business unit in Australia. So I went from a senior product manager to a country general manager. And that was really kind of the foundation for evolving into being a chief executive. And went from Becton Dickinson as the country manager, went with an organization called Cerner, which is providing electronic medical record capability. And they needed someone to come in as the CEO to get them started in Australia and then expand into Asia Pacific. So that really is kind of my journey into being a CEO. I had a business background coming out of school, and just as I just kept moving along in my career, have wound up in this position with Infomedix as well.
Great. So tell me all about your company. Who are your products and what is your customers?
So Infomedix is kind of the next evolution from electronic medical records in healthcare. We do digital medical record technology. So we digitize the patient record, taking the patient record off paper into a digital environment that gives the clinicians unlimited access and really improves the quality of care and the efficiency of care, for those in the hospital. We've been around for about 20 years, 22 years, in fact. So we are a longstanding Australian based organization. And I was asked to come in and join the organization about 3 years ago by the shareholders to help accelerate the transition of Infomedix from a kind of scanning solution into a medical record into a digital capability, which we have now, and also get us established in the cloud, which we've also been able to accomplish as well.
Love most about your job?
I still really like working with teams. I like building teams. I like seeing groups of people achieve things. I like the dynamics of my role. So it's not just internal in terms of being the CEO, but it's also being the face of the organization outward to our clients and to the industry. And I enjoy doing that. I've got a small group of shareholders and that all sit on the board, and I really enjoy my interactions with them. I've got some very smart people that have put investment into our company, and every time I spend time with them, it's kind of like talking to I'm getting another MBA in just how to manage and how to deal with things just by my engagement with them. So managing those relationships I enjoy quite well.
So what's the hardest thing about your job?
Yeah, in thinking about that question, I think everything's hard, right? I don't think anything's easy. And if you're really applying yourself, things are difficult. They're enjoyable, and sometimes people confuse, enjoying something versus something being hard. I think everything is hard if it's really worth doing, and you really want to be good at it. I think it's more around the complexity of the role. I'm fairly type A, so I have to constantly manage myself because sometimes my expectations can be a bit unrealistic for just being practical. So it's a real balance for me in terms of pushing people, but not pushing them too hard, just pushing them enough that they're challenging themselves, and that personally they're achieving things, but then as a group, then the group is achieving things so that the company moves forward. That's a complex, that there's some complexity around that. There's complexity around maintaining my relationships with our clients, complexity around the board, complexity in making sure that my relationships with everybody in the organization is strong. So it's not so much about what's hard. I think it's just the complexity of the role. It's very broad. You're very visible. There's no place to hide. And so you've really got to be thinking ahead of yourself and ahead of the things that the business is doing, to make sure things, cohesively move forward.
So what's one piece of advice for me as I think about starting my own company?
I think that's a good question. I think understand why you want to do that, if that makes sense. I mean, some people want to start a company because they don't want to work for somebody else. Some people want to start a company because they think that's going to be the way to make a lot of money and retire early. So I think, and some people want to start something because they see an opportunity to achieve something with an idea, whether it's a solution or a product. And I think that's probably the way to look at it. So really just be honest with yourself in terms of, why do I want to do this? Because we just talked about things being hard. All of my career, even within corporates, have been either turning things around, business units around, or starting business units up. And that's a very dynamic situation. It's not like you're running a company that's established for 100 years and there's several thousand people and it kind of is going to be successful in spite of itself. When you're starting a company, every decision you make is extremely important and vital. And it takes a lot of fortitude, and it takes a lot of determination, and it takes a lot of self-confidence to be able to do that, because regardless how you put your business plan together, regardless how clear your vision is, once you start, 50% of it will change within 6 months to 12 months. And so you have to be able to adapt. And you can only do that if you really understand yourself and understand why you started the company to begin with. So don't get caught up in an idea. Make sure the idea has relevance to other people, and the chances of success are much higher.
Looks like that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for coming on this show and sharing your story. Best luck with your future.
Yeah, no worries. And best luck for you too, Liam. It's been very enjoyable.